Hello everybody, this is Colin Blow coming at you. I want to show you guys a new plugin that's fixing to be released. I call it Drop Ship. Basically, it's military grade shipping containers all throughout the map randomly, which basically are a new way of loot spawns. These things are kind of cool, I think. Lots of potential. This is what they look like here. Basically, the shipping containers. You can't open the end of them. Players can. And then once it opens, the loot will spawn, and then has a spawn and it has customizable loot you can add as well. Kind of cool. They will spawn 1 to 3 containers. And they all have despawn timers. They have, there's multiple settings for the despawn for when they, just default despawn time if they're just sitting in the world. If you open the door, it has another one, and if after they loot. But I say this thing, there's so many things we can do with things, and you can push things around with vehicles and stuff, so it adds a whole new layer of fun and excitement. Another cool thing about these things is you can pick them up off the ground with the scrap heli or the Chinook. Like say, ta-da, and you can take off and fly away, steal other people's loot. You know, they worked hard to steal that from somebody else, and you can take that back. Ha ha ha. And, as you just saw, they all can also be kicked off of the heli with rockets or grenades from somebody with the SAM site or with somebody shooting you with a rocket. That's like I say, they are also pushable with vehicles. Like I said, you can push them with a car, push them around. Kind of cool. Like I say, you can also push them around with the boats. Kind of cool. Like say, if you wanted to get them back to your base or something, kind of cool. Like I said, they're fully pushable. You can do it with boats, cars, pick them up with helicopters. Kind of cool. There we go. And maybe you're wondering, how do I get these pretty awesome kick-ass military-grade loot containers on my server? Well, pretty quick and easy. As you notice in front of me here, there is a chance for the flat cars, as you see, whenever they spawn in the world, it has a chance to spawn them on the car itself. Like I say, they won't spawn them afterwards, because you never know what's on there, players are on there or something, or if they put something on the trains. But when the fresh spawn, there's a chance for it to spawn on there. And they do the same thing. These are not pushable, but you can, like I say, you can pick them up with the helicopter. There you go. Take them off, get up in the air. Kind of cool. And as you're flying, you can drop them back wherever you want just by pressing the right mouse button again. Like I say, the right mouse button also does lift them up or attach them to the helicopter. So like I say, the train is one way. The default way of getting these onto your map, I first thought of, was the cargo ship, as you can see. What it does, as the cargo ship event happens, it automatically starts randomly throwing or, tossing these containers overboard for players to pick up, either with a boat, whatnot. Like I say, either way, it'll just go around the map. It's timed intervals, random. You can set it in the config of it'll just drop them in the water. Like I say, they do two default things. Once they hit the water, they either, like the blue one, float towards the island, or like the orange one you see right there, they will either just sit there and start a sinking process. And another way that they will spawn in the world, if you enable it, is the harbor drop. If you just notice the one just dropped from the crane, any one of these blue cranes at any of the harbors, there's a timer, and just randomly they will pick one of the cranes and drop one of the containers there. Like I say, by default, it's like every 5 to 15 minutes. I have them sped up right now, but I'll just drop one for your players. And like I say, there's already cargo containers all over the harbor. Why not put in the good use? Make a little more interaction with them. I thought it would be pretty awesome. Now the other one, these do show up on the map, as you can see. All the containers show up on the map, even with the cargo ship when it's going around. You can tell. Of course, like I say, these are sped up quite a bit. But there's another way you can enable. I call it the deep ocean spawn. What it does, it's kind of like random floating containers that spawn around the edge of the map here. They will either do like one of two things: either stop and start a sinking process on a time, or they'll start floating towards into the island. Just for that, they'll start going to the center, and then once they hit land, they'll stop. Like I say, and the other way you can do is if you just manually want to spawn them, players with permission or admins can just spawn them with a command. I got it on a hotkey, and like I say, there are 4 colors. You can just spawn them. They'll just drop where you're at. You can also, admins can also do a random spawn, which it'll just manually spawn one around the edge of the map somewhere. Like I say, whether by land, by sea, or by air, these military-grade shipping containers can come to your server. I think it'll add some fun and excitement for everybody. Like I say, the loot is customizable. You can add your own loot. You can remove the default loot and just put in your custom loot any way you want. Like I say, you guys can, once you check it out, if you need any more features, find any bugs, let me know. Like I say, I've tested out as much as possible to try to get the best possible containers that don't have any problems. So far, they seem to be so fun. So, you guys... hope you guys like it, and I'll see you next time. And something else we can add to it in the future, which I'm working on, but needs a little more work. Making them magnetic here, so you can use the crane to kind of move them around, sling them. There you go.